Prime Morning. My name is Roslyn Felly. A very big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise for always having our back. With Franco Trading Enterprise, you are always covered. Make sure you go to Franco Trading Enterprise for all your authentic gadgets. And of course, whether it's mobile phones, television sets, CCTV cameras, worry no more, we've got you covered. You can actually download the app on your phone to make things very simple, which is the Franco Trading app, or visit our website for further inquiries to www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise, still and still, phone, papa, fie, and also Koa natural fruit juice. Now, this particular fruit juice is a fruit juice I recommend for you because we want to live very healthy this year. No additives, no sugar whatsoever. It's made from your own natural cocoa. Yes, you heard me right. Natural cocoa. And so when you enjoy it, you know that you're enjoying a very healthy drink. Grab yours today and enjoy it. But make sure you drink it very chilled because that's very important. Now, today, actually, we have a lot of things we are going to be discussing. But then again, whenever I say good morning, I know some of you will not be tuned in. You just tuned in. So I'll say good morning to you once again, and I'll say welcome once again to Prime Morning, your trusted platform for balanced discussions, accountability, and national development conversations. Now, today, we turn our attention to two significant national issues making the headlines. First is the allegation of vote buying during the NDC Ayawaso East Primary. Now, it raised concerns about internal party democracy, electoral integrity, and the broader implications for Ghana's democratic culture. However, Baba Jamal has been retained as a winner for the primaries after a committee was set up by the president. Now, we'll take a look at that. Then, we also take a look at President John Dramani Mahamed's directive ordering investigation into reports of district assembly taxation in mining equipment, which has sparked debate over the fight against galamsey. Now, these issues touch on democracy, the rule of law, political ethics, and grassroots governance matters that affect every Ghanaian. This morning, I have three gallant men who are seated next to me, and they're going to help me have a good discussion to these topics. So I have with me, next to me, is a very good friend of mine, Lom Nuku Alija. He is a legal lecturer, okay? He's a lawyer, lecturer, and also an energy expert. Good morning, Lom.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine. How about you?
I'm fine, thank you, and it's good to have you here.
Good to see you this morning.
Fantastic. All right, so next to Lom is Dr. Pakwesi Eduafo Abedu. He's a social policy and sustainability advocate. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah, I can see you're fine.
I like that. And also a very good friend of mine, Awal Mohammed, who's representing the NPP. Good morning, Awal.
Good morning.
How are you?
I am not doing very well.
Oh, Awal. Why?
Yes, because one of our colleagues cannot be found.
Kofi, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he went to Sumpa FM, had a program, and alleged that scholarships are for sale. Then the secretary to the president ordered NIB or wrote to NIB to investigate it. They called him. He went there with his lawyer, Nana Ejebafo. He got there, and they took his statement and left him.
Wow.
Then he went to Kumasi to visit his seriously ill father. Then they called him and they said they needed him yesterday. He told them that he may not be, they said they needed him yesterday, 10 a.m. He went with his lawyer yesterday. Then they took him to his house to ransack the house. After that, they brought him back. Then they moved him to an unknown location that his lawyers don't even know where he is. Now, till this morning, we don't know where he is. So if someone makes even an allegation, you go to his house and ransack the house. Tell him to prove it. And if there is anything, you go to court. It's not NIB that's supposed to do that. We have a crisis. There is food glut. Farmers are crying. Cocoa farmers for the last 3 months have not been paid. That is what should really make this government sit up. Today, there is a cabinet meeting, we are told, to really talk about the cocoa issue. Now you want to really arrest him to cover up these your inefficiencies in the cocoa sector. So we are calling on the government to release him. If there is anything, you send him to court. He made allegations. So he will be able to prove it in court.
Right.
But you will not really keep him there. That's why I'm saying that I'm not really feeling very well. Because I can also be a victim. as we sit here, whatever we say here are later posted on social media, and it goes viral. Because he said it just in a passing, because you could tell that it was even a banter. So in the banter, he said, your time, there was scholarship on. So he said, even today, people say scholarship. And that was why he said. It was not really something that he premeditated and sat down to really say it. But unfortunately, look at what has happened to him. The government should not be persecuting opposing views.
All right, thank you very much, Awal. And I know that most of your colleagues in the party have also been on social media, very, very loud on social media, pushing that he be found, and or if wherever he is, the government should release him. Yeah,
you either release him or you send him to court, right, so that at least the court, he will be charged. But the last time he went there, you didn't charge him. You asked him to go. Then you call him, he voluntarily and go there with his lawyers. You took him to his house to ransack him. Why will you ransack his house? Because he said there is an allegation.
Well, we hope for the best. We have a lawyer here. Maybe we'll ask you a few things with regards to that. But let me do the newspapers and then we can delve into our conversation. I'll start with the Supreme newspaper. The Supreme newspaper, Richard Asiedu appointed EWANF President General. Internal elections should be about ideas, not money. Iradam's Karim warns NDC. St. Michael Specialist Hospital commissions dialysis units in honor of Dr. Ofori Sap. Kojo Oponkroma demands answers. Who is buying Galamsey gold under gold board regime is a question for the gods. DBS Industries cautions public against dealing with unauthorized persons. And this will be the Supreme newspaper. For the next newspaper is the Publisher, the New Publisher. The News Publisher actually has changed a bit, you know. Anyway, strange woman burns Alpha R Church. I saw the video. Hey, some people have guts, so. Well, I don't think it's I don't know what you think. People are attributing it to mental health. I am not attributing it to mental health. From where I sit as a Christian and from being close to a lot of, men of God, I can say that sometimes some of these things are instigated by other men of God because of envy. I'm not saying this is it. This one was. But some of these things, sometimes they are instigated by other men of God. They pay some people to do all sorts of things. I'm not saying this one, but it could even be that is another man of God who is behind it, who is saying, this guy's church is growing too much. Let's go and destroy it. It's Ghana. Progress. It's not easy. Anyway, more stories here. Mohammed summons emergency meeting over cocoa. Retained Napo for VIP. Ashanti Regional Minister joins campaign. Awal, what do you think about this?
Well, it's a flag bearer who will have to present someone to National Council, for National Council to accept the person. So I cannot really have any opinion.
But do you think it's a good one?
Well, we called for Dr. Bawumia to be maintained for the next elections. It has been maintained. So the person he really ran with, at least it will be fair to say that he ran with him again. Okay. But we have a history in this country. In the year 2000, when Atamils was the candidate for the NDC, he picked Martin Amidu as the running mate. In 2004, he changed Martin Amidu to Alhaji Mohammed Mumuni. In 2008, he changed Mohammed Mumuni to President Mahama and won the elections. You understand? So because there is a history, we cannot say it is automatic, even though that history is in NDC, not in NPP.
Exactly. I was going to
you
say,
understand?
In the NPP,
that history is in
mates.
Yes.
Yes.
Because the person who has been really, it's a Kufuor that is the yardstick here.
Right.
Not anyone, because Kufuor in 1996, he didn't really, we did a marriage of a convenience where we brought in Akka, the sitting vice president, to be our running mate because he had issues with Rawlings. So after that marriage of convenience didn't work, we had to go back to our roots by picking an ordinance. So we picked Aliyu Muhammad, they won the election, so you couldn't change him. But the really trailblazer is Akufo-Addo, who picked Bawumia in 2008, repeated him in 2012 and 2016. So we have really the history of consistently repeating the person we've gone with. But anything at all can change. That's why I'm saying that it's not cast in stone. You look at your strategy going forward in 2028. If the party feels that we have to go with Napo, I don't have any choice. We'll have to go with him, promote him so that we win the election. But I know the person will come from Ashanti region.
Okay. Yes. Oh, you know that for sure?
Yeah, I know that for sure. Yes, that is what we'll do.
Why that strategy?
I have been part of Dr. Bawumia's campaign team from 2023. And our strategy has been that if Bawumia wins, the best person to really partner him should come from the party's heartbeat. That's the Ashanti region. So I know for sure that whoever is chosen, even if Dr. Napo is not maintained, the person will come from Ashanti. So if there is anyone anywhere trying to really think that the person can come and lobby, the person shouldn't waste his time because the person will still come from Ashanti region. If you're from Ashanti region, you can still lobby.
Fantastic. Lon, what do you think about it?
Well, I think it's consistent, with the numbers, because as Awal said, it's about numbers.
Yes.
Yes, it's about the heartbeat of the party. So if, for example, the NPP thinks that in order to consolidate their numbers there, in order to increase perhaps even their numbers there, it would be good to pick somebody from there. I think it's not out of place. But then, of course, beyond that strategy within the Bawumia camp, as he mentioned, every election is predicated on what the issues will be, who the personalities will be, perhaps new dimensions that will come up. And I can be certain that the NPP may not be in a rush now to pick the running mates.
Yeah.
They want to wait a bit and see how, for example, who the NDC will pick for their flag bearer and perhaps even the other parties. And then, obviously, make a decision that will basically tie it all in. So, yes, we'll wait to see how it goes.
All right. Pakusi, do you think retaining Dr. Napo will be a good idea for the NPP?
Yes. Well, let me say a very good morning to your cherished viewers. So you see, it's about weighing the opportunity cost. It's about what benefit does it come with maintaining him, and what cost does it come with maintaining him. What analysis have the party done? What is going to inform that decision in terms of the prospect for the upcoming elections? I believe that the former Ashanti Regional Minister is just doing an advocacy. he's just trying to push for an agenda. And so, of course, that is his interest. At this stage, you expect people who have a certain love or interest for some persons, they will start to push their agenda so that those names become frontliners in terms of, when the time comes for selection process. And don't be surprised, other groups or other people will also start giving up their voices as to which other candidates that they prefer. The most important thing is that the party, the candidate, that is Dr. Bawumia, is not moved, shouldn't be shaken about some of these pushes that may come. Just be strong and ensure that the most important thing, focusing on 2028 election, getting the candidates which will help him or who will help him to win the elections, should be his focus, and ensure that he resists all forms of pressure or external forces which will end up not helping his candidature eventually. And so it's one of those things that we should expect some of these and more to be happening.
All right, okay. More stories here. Kotoka family fights airport name change, insists move undermines his legacy. That'll be it for the new publisher newspaper. The next newspaper is the Daily Gist newspaper. NDC clears Baba Jamal in Nima vote buying scandal, and this is one of our topics for discussion this morning. High Court rejects Gifty Owari SC bid. Cabinet holds crunch meeting on cocoa crisis. Ghana still scores low in global anti-corruption fight in 2025. NPP lawyers, ex-MPs storm Bawumia's house, and Oponkroma labels 24-hour economy political deception to win votes. That'll be it for the Daily Gist newspaper. The next newspaper is the Daily Graphic newspaper. Daily Graphic, 119 lives lost during Boko mediation. President Mahama reaffirms path of law. Government launches drive to recover premix fuel funds. And Ayawaso East seat, NDC clears Baba Jamal to contest. That'll be it for the Daily Graphic newspaper. The next newspaper is the Ghanaian Publisher newspaper. The Ghanaian Publisher. NDC clears NDC of vote buying. I like this. NDC clears NDC of vote buying. All right. In Ayawaso East Primary, Ashanti NPP MPs fire government over Swami interchange downgrade. Journalist Akwesi Ajiman backs PhD at the University of Ghana. Congratulations to him. And Dr. Richard Esiedu takes the helm of EWANF, and that'll be it for the Ghanaian Publisher newspaper. The final newspaper is a Chronicle newspaper. The Chronicle. Aini worried over biting land compensation claims against the government. Richard Esiedu heads eminent West Africa Nobles Forum. Victoria Hammer earns PhD in public administration. Congratulations to her. And the banner headline reads, Premix Fuel manages to vomit 27.7 million Ghana cedis, allegedly looted between 2017 and 2024. And that will be it for the Chronicle as well, but it always comes with the Bible verse. And today we are taking it from 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 19. They promised them freedom, but they themselves are slaves of corruption. For whatever overcomes a person, to that he is enslaved. That is our Bible verse for today, and I think it's being linked to the Premix Fuel managers who are going to vomit 27.7 million Ghana cedis. You will vomit it. Let them vomit it. Anyway, let's go into our main topic for this morning, and we want to start off with the Ayawaso East vote buying allegation. Now, a committee was set to probe into it, and yesterday we heard from the party executives letting us know that Baba Jamal has been cleared, and he is going to contest on the ticket of the NDC to make sure they go back into Parliament after losing their Member of Parliament some few months ago. Now, this morning we want to talk about vote buying, the implications of vote buying, and how it's becoming a norm in recent times. Since I have a Lom, who is a lawyer, seated next to me, I really want to find out the legal standpoint and what constitutes vote buying under the Ghanaian law.
Okay, so there are dimensions of it, but generally covers broadly matters related to bribery and then something the law also calls treating. So the idea is that no person should do anything or take any act which has a motive or the objective of inducing somebody to vote a particular way. Okay. So here we are talking about whether you are paying EC officials, party officials, whether you are paying delegates, whether you are providing them with rice or oil or any of the other things that are basically inducement. So it should be tied to the vote. You want to use those things as a means to direct or influence how they vote. And the law covers that. And we've seen in the past lots of investigations that have been related to that, even though we haven't seen significant action taken in that respect. So we see that, for example, in this Ayawaso East matter, we know, for example, the OSP has issued a statement saying that they are on it. They are doing investigations on it. They've even indicated that they are also doing that in relation to the NPP presidential primaries, which happened ending of January. And even in the past, the OSP has done research of that kind. The other investigative bodies, not so much. We haven't seen a lot of that, but at least in recent times, the OSP has been quite big on it. Now, one of the things that is very interesting about the way the law couches these offenses is that it's so broad that it even covers anything as little as water or providing logistics and TNT. Because I've seen from the discussions that have happened so far that there seems to be some outrage because of, let's say, the kinds of things that were given. They're talking about TV, they're talking about, you know.
But when it was money, people kept quiet about it.
And then we have a system where even when politicians are running for office and they invite delegates to a place to talk to them, they provide them with TNT.
Yeah.
They give them water, drinks, packs of food. All of that is covered under the law. You should not do any of that. The reason is because the essence of the democratic process is to encourage people who have the genuine desire to serve the people, to offer themselves, and also people who are part of the electoral system or process, whether internal or the wider public, to vote based on the ideals, the issues, the values of the people who are standing and all of that. It should not be based on any other thing. So the idea is that in any political conversation, there should be no instance where there is exchange of anything of value, where we are talking about TNT, and somebody's TNT can be 100 cedis, and other people are giving 1,000 cedis.
Yeah.
And then it becomes an issue where even sometimes when journalists talk to, some of these delegates, they'll tell that, oh, this person, we didn't vote for them because the TNT, they only gave us 50 cedis. And this person was giving 1,000. And we heard that even in recent primaries and so on. So that from a legal standpoint, none of those should be happening.
Right.
None of those should be happening.
So why are we here? Because now it's being done openly. In the past, it wasn't, but now it's very open. It's become a norm.
I wouldn't say that it's being done in the open now. I think it has always been the case. Maybe perhaps now there's more attention on it. The media is very vociferous in seeking out these things. And also, perhaps sometimes because of the sheer, maybe, the determination of maybe candidates standing to really get across, they kind of don't take their time to do it in a more subtle way. It has to be done now quickly so that they can get their votes in and so on. You know the number of delegates for a particular election, and you are aiming to get more than half so that at least you have a buffer and all of that. So you see that, I saw some of the images, footage from some of the media houses, and you can see that there was like a clamor even for the things. There was no decorum even to it, like we were just throwing out these things. So I wouldn't say that it's new. It has always been there. And to be honest with you, it has been the case across all the political parties, as far as I'm concerned, over the years. What is interesting this time is that there is an attempt by one of the parties, in this case the NDC, to deal with it, okay? But it is not new. There's absolutely nothing new about it. And then, as I also mentioned, the OSP is also quite interested.
Right.
So that brings it to the fore in a significant way. And so, as far as I'm concerned, these matters we should be happy or interested in the fact that at least some action is being taken now. And we want to see this across, yes, because it shouldn't be only Ayawaso East.
Yeah.
All the other, there are many primaries coming up in the NDC, the NPP, CPP, all of them. We want to see that there will be some structural changes, because those changes is what to ensure that when candidates are elected, they are elected based on what they are offering in terms of their ideas and their vision and all of that, and not based on inducements and so on. Of course, we also know that inducements are not automatic guarantees that you win, because I'm just hearing some of the outcome from yesterday's report from the General Secretary of the NDC that perhaps all the candidates offered something. So it doesn't mean that because you've offered it, you win. But it clearly just then shows that people who may ultimately win may not necessarily be winning based on what they are going to offer. Yes, and credibility. So from a legal point of view, as I've said, it is improper for any type of inducement, no matter how small. So let's not make a distinction between TV and water.
Right.
It's not allowed. It should not be the case.
Okay. Now, if proven, these persons, especially OSP investigating them, if proven, what are the legal consequences these individuals could face, especially Baba Jamal, who is the latest in the scene?
Well, since it's not only Baba Jamal, because I think
he's the latest right now.
Not later. He's the one who has won.
Okay.
And so he's the one who's going to take part in the by-election, because the NDC is going to present him.
Right.
But if we are talking about the vote buying, what I can see and hear so far is that it looks like all the candidates in this particular one were implicated. So it doesn't matter whether they didn't win or won. So it's not just Baba Jamal.
Okay.
But I guess perhaps the reason why you may ask that is because Baba Jamal is going to be presented. So when he is presented, for example, in this by-election and he wins, then it means that he'll be a sitting member of parliament, and then OSP will be investigating, and we know there may be even a trial and all that, depending on what they find and so on and so forth. Because when it comes to the law courts, it's about evidence, okay? And that should be distinguished quite clearly from the committee work that has been done by this particular body that was set up to investigate it within the NDC. What they found and the basis for which they are making their recommendations, we'll have to see the report in full. But OSP will have to then also do its own independent investigation, get evidence, and be able to prove that case beyond a reasonable doubt. Because in a criminal matter, it's not simply based on the fact that the media was saying it or we are sitting here talking about it. You will need credible evidence. You need witnesses who can testify and confirm that they received so and so and all that, just to be able to make the case. But like I said, you've highlighted it quite clearly. Because the NDC has indicated that to be presenting Baba Jamal, then obviously he will be the one taking part in the primary the by-election. And if he does win, then it means that as a sitting member of parliament, there may be some investigations ongoing involving him and so on. So we'll wait to see how that pans out.
All right, fantastic. Pakwasi, you as a social person, more of a social person, I mean, what does this vote buying send to the younger generation?
Yeah, I mean, from a very good context, I like where you're coming from. I mean, from the angle of the younger generation. You see, we need to connect this situation with how our culture, how the values that guides us as a people. We are in Ghana, a country where today, even you go to a typical restaurant and the more you give tips to the attendant, the better you are treated. The better you are treated. Okay, so something transactional is happening out there. Now, when it comes to our politics, you see, we are always talking about the buying component of it. This is a market. I would love to call it more of vote selling than vote buying. Yes, because somebody is buying, but someone is also ready and more willing to sell the vote. So what it means is that a certain market is being created for the political class and for the voting class. And these two agents or entities, they coincidentally, their interests meet and then they begin to transact just so, their interest will be served. The person whose vote is being bought is not being coerced, is not being forced. They voluntarily push for it. They are voluntarily looking for the opportunity to sell the votes, their votes. And so if you look at some of the footages, the videos, the TV instance, the TV case, for example, you saw the delegates themselves walking to the room, taking the material and coming back. It's not like the TVs and those materials were sent to their houses. Okay? And so that should tell you the thinking, the principles, the values which, as voters, currently we are holding, or in our democratic dispensation, how we've been what principles guiding the decisions that we take. Okay, now the buyer would say that, okay, I'm trying to incentivize the voter. You know, there's a theory also suggests that in a typical even organization or working environment, the more you incentivize your employee or people, your followers, the more you get their support, their output, the more you get their they get inclined to you because you are also serving their interests, you're also being there for them. And so if there's a thin line between creating that incentive for the voter and then using that incentive as a way of expecting an exchange or a feedback from whatever you are doing for the voter or for the person, okay? So if you're not very clear or if you don't make things clear, it's difficult for us to really, that's what my brother was saying. You see, it's difficult to even make a distinction between, okay, I've given you water, I've given you this amount of money. At what level does it become a mere incentive? At what level does it become a mere gift? And at what point does it become transactional, where that it's expected that the gift will give you a fit, and will be reciprocated, so that you also get the benefit of it? How do we as a people value incentives or gifts? We value them in the sense that when he gives me something, I feel, oh, he's a good man. He's able to give me something. He's done well. So the culture is such a way that the moment he's not giving me, he's stingy. Oh, this man, he doesn't know what he's doing. You know, he doesn't like me. He doesn't like people. With this attitude, when he wins, how am I sure he's going to serve my interest? Because, he's not giving me anything. But you will give me something. whatever motive that you are, oh, he's a giver, he's a good woman, he's a good person. You see, and you are tempted to climb towards you because I see you to be a good person. You don't give.
Yeah.
All right.
You're not a good person.
You're not a good person, and so that attraction begins to shift towards the one who gives, and that tells you how the seller of the vote also is short-minded in terms of what it means to respond to the sales or the gift you are giving me, what it means for my community, what it means for my family, what it means for nation building. Because at that point, it becomes self-interest, it becomes individual level benefit. It becomes what I stand to gain because I have the power to make a decision, I have the vote. In the short term, without thinking about what it means or the implication for the medium to long term. Okay? And so, as far as the person's interest is shortened at that level, it becomes difficult to even reject or not to accept any of such offers.
Right.
And then it becomes a problem. All right? There are also instances where you want to give me, all right, okay, I'm not interested. I don't like it. But here is the case. I feel if I don't take it, he will take it.
So I have to take it.
And so I have to take it. So the moral incentive not to engage in such activities even becomes problematic. All right? So it is something that has really crept into our fundamental values and principles, ethics in life or as a people. And it's now moving to the next, another level.
Yeah.
But you see, the buyer of the votes, the politician, they also have their own principles and values. The political clientelism, where they want to create a certain structure whereby they will still remain powerful, they will remain more influential, so that they can leverage on that status to ensure that the people whom they will need their votes are always at the disadvantaged position, so that those little incentives become very important for them. And that is where the buyer then comes in also, because the buyer feels like the politician is not helping me get good roads, the hospitals, here and there, okay? There's a certain gap in terms of development, a certain gap in terms of the benefit that I get from voting. Now, if these benefits are not coming, which he said to sometimes is intentionally also created by the politician, because when those benefits are made available and the people are well-to-do, it's difficult also to...
Also, you feel it's intentional sometimes?
Of course. Tell me, how many times or to what extent do you hear of a lot of vote-buying issues in places like, the
elite areas?
The elite areas. All right? Who are you going to give the transportation to? And what kind of incentive are you giving to the person in that elite area? All right? If you look at the structures, you realize that the more poorer, the more impactful some of these gestures become.
Is it a social finding?
Of course. There are a lot of research outcomes, which this morning I was reading even some papers around that.
So sometimes the development that is stalled is intentional, so the people are not empowered, and then the politicians will always remain on top from the findings.
Awal knows that. Awal here knows that if everyone, all his followers are like him, as rich as he is.
I like that. Who can he influence?
Who can he influence?
Why?
Who can he influence? Then I'll do it, You see?
That's an eye-opener one. But then again, with all these vote buying, how does it affect public trust in these political leaders?
The evidence is so clear. One, the politician himself, the one buying the votes, him or himself, sees you, the one selling the votes, in a different way, that you can easily be compromised, that you are weak in terms of your decision-making powers. Okay? That in itself is one aspect of trust, which is being compromised here. Because when it comes to expect you to make a credible, informed decision, I don't trust you as a voter. All right? So that is one aspect. The other aspect, when you flip the coin, the voter now also knows that, I'm taking this from this person. I don't even know where this money is coming from, but I'm taking it. At that moment, because of the compromises, you don't even want to expect so much from the person, because you know internally that this person has spent so much money that obviously when the person gets the opportunity to be in power, wherever the money is coming from ought to be compensated, ought to be there should be some kind of indemnification. Right. All right. So trust is destroyed, trust is broken. And that is why when it happens that way, accountability itself becomes a problem. The person in power does not feel compelled to give accounts wherever, because I've already accounted.
It's something else.
You see?
Yeah.
So you the voter yourself, you don't have any moral conscience, any moral justification to even demand for proper accountability, because you have already enjoyed the benefit before the person even came into power. Well, right? So it really destroys a lot of the foundation upon which we need to build our democracy and promote development in our part of the world. And it's quite unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. Oh, wow. What does your party say about all these things that's happening in the NDC?
Let me just read something from Manasa Azure Awuni. He says, Ayawaso East Primaries, NDC endorses vote buying. And that is clearly what the NDC has been able to do. Because when Fifi Kwete did his presentation after the Inusa Fuseni committee gave the recommendations to him, he said about two things. One is that all the candidates they invited admitted of misconducting themselves. All the five. That's what Fifi Kwete said. They are endorsing Baba Jamal because of time constraints. And they were also afraid of legal challenges that will arise. And that is the only reason they are presenting Baba Jamal. This should clearly tell you that the party has endorsed vote buying. Because you could still change Baba Jamal or change all the five and still go ahead to win the seat. We did the same in Gushegu. In the year 2020, Dr. Ziblim, who was the deputy tourism minister, was the incumbent MP. His constituency organizer picked the form to contest him. We felt that if we allow them to even run the primaries, we'll lose the seat because it's a swing constituency. We picked Hassan Tampuli from MPA. He didn't buy forms, he didn't do anything, and presented him and he won the seat for us. You understand? So if you talk about time constraints, the person has misconducted himself. The person has engaged in vote buying, which all the speakers here are saying that it really breeds mistrust to politicians. Now look at the amount of money they shared. 3,000 each, because that's what the videos are saying. And these are individuals who are polling station executives, branch, they call it branch executives, confirming that Hajia gave me 3,000 with other goodies. Baba Jamal gave 3,000 with a television. If you check the number of delegates, close to 1,000 people, everyone got a television. Motorbikes, 150 of them. And they did all these things. So you're asking yourself, how much is his salary? Today, there are over 50 or 60 NDC MPs that I know that they are not even on any of the boards to even take allowance. So he only survives with his salary. And one thing about the MP's salary is that it is the salary that he will buy his fuel to his constituency, to pay his driver, and few other things. So the DC is even better than him. But someone spends, even if it is only 3,000 cedis times 900 delegates, how much is his salary? With his ex gratia for the 4 years, for the next 3 years, it's even 3 years. So we're thinking that indeed, as they said, it's not a new phenomenon. It is something that has been there, but it has never been this glaring, open, for even the person to admit that indeed I have given gifts. I don't think that gift will influence, but I have given the gifts. Now, Musa Dankwa said, his data and everything points to the fact that it is a gift that influenced them. Because before the elections, he mentioned that the data and science and everything point to the fact that Baba Jamal will lose. The woman will win. Now, after that, Musa Dankwa came to say that, well, it is the money and the TV that was given that swayed the voters to vote for him. Because if you look at the demography, if you look at the Nima, for instance, it is a place that poverty is endemic there. As he said, the general well-being of the people suggests whether he will take bribe or not to really influence him. So we're thinking that at least this committee with eminent personalities, to be quite, when we're young, we heard about him and so on. We were thinking they will be firm enough for us to nip it in the bud, so that at least we'll know that politicians cannot just come openly and say, I gave TV, so what? To even challenge the journalist that even if I give you, when he was talking about timing, he said, even if I give you, will you say the timing is wrong? Yes, because you as a journalist, pay your training. You can't just go and to write someone's story and he gives you money and you take. Were you trained like that?
Of course not.
No. Even the solid. I remember when we started work at Radio XYZ. I was a journalist with XYZ. The late David Lamte told us that if you go to any program, don't take solid. We'll give you your TNT and go and do. And the radio station was working efficiently at that time. You get it? So it is not really the case that the NDC are looking at time constraints. This is your stronghold. Even though I am upbeat that with the candidate that we have presented and the acrimony within the place and the pushback against Baba Jamal and some few other things, I am upbeat that our candidate, who has been a Nima boy all his life, he was born there, bred there, went to school there, he's still residing within the constituency, and is a teacher. And has really touched a lot of lives within the constituency. But that said, I am saying that the NDC were presented with opportunity to really control this, so that at least subsequently when there are parliamentary primaries, people will not do this in an open, even if they will give the TNT. It is becoming a norm that at least TNT are given to really delegates to come and vote. It's becoming a norm.
Which should not be.
Well, it depends on how. It depends on
from the legal standing, from what law.
Yes, it depends on how you're seeing it. You see, our political parties now are run on the benevolence of our own members, not really dues and so on. When you go to South Africa, the ANC, they have higher stake in MTN to the extent that today they have businesses running. So they do not need any funding from any other person to run their party. They can still run the party like that. But when you are in government, when we're in government, anytime there is a gathering like that, because we can pull resources from all over, we're able to really the party was able to resource the polling agents to come and vote without necessarily expecting it from them.
Okay,
But
I just want to find out from you. I mean, you've spoken about what the NDC did. Now, let's not forget that not too long ago, the NPP, you also conducted an election where you elected your flag bearer. This vote buying was glaring in our eyes. We saw videos of people, these delegates telling us, this person gave me 500. I'm waiting for this month's money, 5,000 cedis. This person gave me 2,000. This person gave me... We saw it. But unfortunately, for the NPP, we didn't see any action to even try to condemn the act.
Okay. So,
as much as we've seen the OSP saying that they are investigating it, the NPP has been quiet. And so somebody watching us this morning will say the NPP rather does it and condones it without even saying anything about it. Whereas you have the NDC actually condemning the act, even though they have still gone ahead with Baba Jamal.
So the NDC will have to condemn the act because Baba Jamal stood there, granted the interview and said that I have given gifts to people. In the case of the NPP, if you listen to me carefully, I said that in opposition, when you said that giving the TNT is bad, I said no. Yes and no. When you don't have the resources to pull all of them together, the candidates will have to really support by bringing them to the venue. You understand? And what you saw people saying, it was the venue. Because what you heard and the videos you saw, if it was the money that influenced, Dr. Bamia wouldn't have won. Didn't you hear what they were saying? You understand? Because you never heard them say the highest bidder was Bawumia. You never heard anyone say that. They said, this one gave us our TNT. What I even saw is that we're expecting Adichum to give us our TNT, he didn't give us. Doing very well that Adichum was
probably
not.
That was the reason why
yes, they know they was not winning. But because he's in the race, and it's becoming institutionalized that at least everyone will give something, even if it's a token. You understand? So they were expecting that. But this one is different. It's not really. I'm saying that this one is different. There's no law. That's the reason. No, you see, on these gifts, that's the reason in 2023, after the primaries, you had Occupy Ghana petitioning the Attorney General to tell him that let's have something in our provisions to say that if someone gives even TNT to delegates, that should constitute a crime, so that at least we would nip that in the bud. You get it? So they have reiterated their course yesterday. I have seen their press release saying that they still think that this Attorney General should work on it so that at least we'll have clear-cut legal rules. For instance, the NDC in their justification yesterday said that in their constitution there is nothing like that to sanction anyone. But they are, however, expanding the committee from 3 to 7 so that they will be able to really do it thoroughly. When you come to the OSP, that statement is bogus. And I think that it's one of the reasons I have always been calling for the removal of Kisia Jabin as the OSP, because he's incompetent. That's it. You see, we had our elections last week. You saw these things. You did not really have cause to even talk about it until when people call that Baba Jamal should be arrested. Then you have to predicate your statement with last week something happened, I'm adding this one to investigate. When there are two distinct investigations that you're supposed to do in this. That is one. Two is that in 2023, a certain Juliana Wansan, who was contesting the primaries in Edrasech Redumasi in Ashanti region, was seen on the top of a car splashing money. The OSP invited her. What has happened to that? His problem is that anytime there is an issue, he quickly jumps in and goes for it and will not do anything. It's one of the reasons when a lot of people were calling for a reset, I said, this is the only reset I agree. That this is a man, we have sunk millions of Ghana cedis there. The OSP, that man sitting there, cannot even tell us that he's been able to even retrieve out to 100 million. Not even a quarter of what we have really spent on his office alone. Last year alone, we spent over 220 million on that office alone. What has he been able to retrieve? If there are issues like this, he quickly jump in. From 2003 up to today, you've not been able to even update us on what had happened with that woman who went and was splashing money on a live TV. Now, there is issue with Baba Jamal. Then you start your statement by saying that last week there was something like that and we want to really come and do. And no one has even complained that what happened in the NPP was even bad. Even the NDC, in their statement to congratulate us, never said that what happened was wrong. The only thing I see today is that if Baba Jamal wins today, he will not be able to work with the majority. So if you are in Ayawaso East watching me, the best person to vote for is Baba Ali, because the majority caucus a day before the elections went to Ajia Amina and donated monies to her. It was Comfort Donyo Ganza, who is the deputy whip, who went with majority MPs to endorse her a day before elections and gave her money. The following morning when the issue came, the majority issued a statement to say that the entire process should be annulled because they don't need Baba Jamal in parliament. So if you are in Ayawaso East today and you are watching me, if Baba Jamal is elected, the majority MPs had rejected him already.
Okay.
So he will not be able to do anything. The government also has rejected him because the president also had to recall him and said that it is because of the allegations and because of the bribery that he had recalled him. So if you're hoping that Baba Jamal will be elected and get some ministerial appointment, the president doesn't like him because he recalled him and said that he doesn't need him as an ambassador over there. Because we knew that at least after winning, he will not really resign. He will wait until he wins. After winning, then he will resign and will be sworn in as the
okay, well, let me go slow.
They see the politician is on the full swing.
Exactly. You know the case for your
He knows what he's doing.
Exactly.
Anyway, no, you know,
Exactly.
from what you know, Awal said, what they did during their time, there's nothing wrong with it.
There's something wrong with it.
Okay.
Yes, there's something wrong with it. You see, we have to call it out for what it is. Vote buying should not be entertained under any circumstance, under any party for that matter. You see, I get there's a concession I believe that Awal is making that we are trying, it's a work in progress. Maybe the parties have to accept that the parties want to make some progress with it. They know that it's not the ideal, but perhaps, and so on. So he mentions that, at least the TNT and so on. And that's why I was saying that it is improper. So I wanted to refer to the representation of the people law so that we get some context to some of the things.
Okay.
And this one I'm reading from section 34. There are a couple of them, but I'll focus on this one because it's a shorter section. So a person commits the offense of treating if that person, A, corruptly or through another person, before, during, or after an election, gives or provides or pays wholly or in part the expenses of giving or providing meat, drink, entertainment, or provision to or for any person, sub I, for the purposes of corruptly influencing that person or another person to vote or refrain from voting, or 2, on account of that other person or another person having voted or refrained from voting, or being about to vote or refrain from voting, or B, corruptly accepts or take meat, drink, entertainment, or provision offered in the circumstances or for the purposes mentioned in paragraph A. This is just one context. Now, it's true that Occupy Ghana in the past, and even recently, have reiterated the fact that they want a more specific law dealing with matters related to elections, influence in terms of gifts and all of that, to make it more direct. But the truth is that beyond even a new law dealing with it more specifically, we have to see that the objectives of the democratic process that we are on calls for everyone to frown upon anything related to vote buying. Because, first of all, the Constitution is the supreme law of Ghana. In that Constitution, Article 41 specifically gives citizens what our duties or objectives are, or in other words, what we should be striving to do as citizens. And one of the key things there is that we should vote for persons who offer themselves for public office. Now, in doing so, there is a responsibility on every citizen to ensure that we are doing so in a manner that ensures that whoever is elected is someone who's going to represent the best interests of whichever group it is, whether internal or external. And now you come to this law, which is the law that regulates elections in Ghana. It gives you a number of offenses related. And this is just one of them I mentioned. That's treating. Besides treating, it also talks about bribery and other offenses and so on. So it gives you an indication of what every citizen should be doing, whether you are in your internal party elections or we are talking about voting in national elections. And we are saying that when politicians or persons who are vying for public office use inducements, then what it means is that it is going to impact the voting and it will have a direct consequence for other things beyond that internal election.
Right.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that from the legal point of view and even from our dispensation as a democratic state, these are things that should be frowned upon. And so I take the view that the NDC should be commended because it has, at the forefront, taken a step that let's even investigate this matter.
Okay.
Now, I can see from the statement that was, or let me say the interview that was given by the General Secretary of the NDC, that basically the decision to present Baba Jamal is a political decision because as it stands now, they have up to today to present somebody. The example that Awal gives, for example, in Gushegu, it's a different kind of scenario because we're not talking about vote buying in that context. As he said, they presented Hassan Tampulu, who is my mate, by the way, and a very good friend. So I was happy for him. I'm still happy for him that he's an honorable member of parliament and so on. So he got the opportunity to go because perhaps they wanted to present somebody that they believe will have the best interest of the constituents at heart. But has a different matter. So on the political decision, they are saying we are giving it to the person who won per the numbers because politically there's nothing we can do in this context because everybody was part of it. That's what we can see. But that is political. The point is that there needs to be an effort to deal with it going forward. So what we are going to then do is to set up a committee bigger than the current one to look at proposals to now make it part of our laws. Because this is an internal election. So the internal election must be predicated on the party's constitution. So if the party's constitution does not give room for them to say we are cancelling it or annulling it, or, for example, is there a provision in that constitution that says that if you find somebody vote buying or vote selling, can you take an action against them? So they are saying legal challenges may also come because a decision we make must be predicated on our constitution.
That's what Fifi said,
yes, but going forward, we are going to do something about the constitution. But what I'm saying is commendable, and that's why I like your question to not only to Awal, but to all of us, that what can we do as a nation to stop this? And all the parties must be part of that conversation. So it's not only a matter of NDC in this instance. We would like to see what the NPP will do, what the CPP will do, and so on. Because, as I said, it is endemic. Across the political divide, it is a fact that inducements have been given generally over time. And whether the influence, these inducements influence, as I made the point earlier, is that sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But even for those who it doesn't work, they still give. Everybody's giving the TNT. Everybody's giving the like refreshment and so on. But you can see from what I read that it talks about meat, drink, entertainment, provision.
It's a case whereby, during the NPP elections, we saw, buffet being served during the elections. And it was glaring. Can we call that vote buying as well?
That one, it's volunteers who came there and said, I support this man, so come and eat my food. You understand?
That's what I'm asking, if it can be called as vote buying. Because you're supporting
I was even in Kumasi, and I was in Kumasi, I was about to go and vote. I vote in the Asawase constituency, so I was just about to go and vote. Then I met some media, and they were asking me that Dr. Baumia has given food to people. I said, that's not true. Then they pointed to the joint. Then I saw the woman. I said, oh, as for this woman, I know she supports Baumia, but we did not. But yeah, it's her own thing that she thinks that let's refresh them to come there. So as for that, the candidates didn't even know anything about it.
Is this not another way of
it is another way.
Because you can use somebody's face to buy.
Absolutely. Let's not,
that's what Baba Jamal even said. Baba Jamal said that he didn't directly give anyone, because when I listened to Ojoga Adaudu, his lawyer, the lawyer is saying that Baba Jamal didn't directly give anyone anything. That's what.
That's what I was making the point earlier. That you see, when it comes to any supposed criminal aspect from OSP, it's about evidence and what they can prove. So that one, let's be clear that what we are talking about so far does not directly speak to whether there's a conviction or guilt or any of those things. So that one, the OSP has to make his case. But as we've been discussing this matter, we're looking at it just dispassionately. It is inappropriate for politicians to influence the process through inducements. And it's also clear that it can be done through others. So even if it's not the candidate, it is others. And you can see even from what I read that it's talking about any person. So if you are not even the candidate and you are using any of these things to influence someone to vote for a candidate, it's still in the remit of the kinds of idea that the law wants to prescribe, you see. So that is a key thing. But how do we deal with this going forward? And that's why I'm excited about the approach. And I want to, maybe let's put it on the table. We want to hear from all the parties. What is their view on it? Because you see, sometimes Ghana being what it is, after this week, we'll move on to another topic, and so on and so forth. And then we know party primaries are coming up for all the parties. Soon, NDC will be doing it, NPP will be doing it, all of them will be doing it. And then we'll just forget about it. And maybe by now, more better schemes will come in place on how to do these things. So then everything becomes quiet. Or to just be more silent on the phone, nobody knows about it. But it should not be the case. And that's why we should call it out and frown upon it. You see?
It should be frowned upon.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But do you think it's becoming normalized?
Yeah, it's becoming normalized. In fact, it's normal.
It's normal
not
now.
becoming. It's actually come to stay. Yeah. So, yeah, it's very normal now. And so, like I mentioned, that is why we need to accept that is, like he's mentioned, we've all agreed. It's a problem that we need to, it's a serious problem that we need to accept that now, as far as Ghana and our democracy is concerned, that issue is something that we cannot relegate to the background. And for me, yes, the political parties and the politicians must accept, they are the supply side of the issue. So they must accept that, like we've all agreed, something is wrong and then we deal with it. The other issue is that, are they ready? I just went online. I went to the website of NCC, National Commission for Civic Education. I have a big problem with them when it comes to our democracy and the role they are expected to play and how they are playing it. I've not heard any statement from them ever since even this Ayawaso East issue came up. At least with an institution which is mandated to promote and sustain our democracy. They are the major institution in the country when it comes to democracy and sustaining democracy, anything about democracy.
I can tell you, they don't have resources.
No, that is correct. So you need to be proactive. So how many times have you interviewed them on this table? Do you take money?
No, of course not.
You didn't take us money and we are here. So what it will take for the NCC boss to call Joy Prime and say, I want to come and educate voters on this? And they will not give it. So when I hear that they don't have resources, we are helping them to really perpetuate their inefficiencies.
But you see, I'm still talking about resources. Even as granting that is even true, it's still an issue that's cuts across our government, our past government. Go and check the budget allocations for the NCC over the past years. Which government have given them any special treat in terms of funding resources that would say that, well, the powers, the government will, prioritize their function, and so this amount of money it was increased. They were given enough resources for them to work. Okay, in as much as we expect some kind of internal innovation mechanisms to mobilize resources and do whatever they have to do. You see, when the political powers also don't feel the need to help you to function effectively, they will not give you the resources. We all know the budget allocations, the priority of the institutions, which ones are of priority and where the money goes. Okay, so it tells you that probably Awal may be the best person to tell. When they resource them, when they give them the funding, and they start doing their work well for people to appreciate or for people to exercise their civic responsibilities in the way we expect, probably the politician may not benefit. And so they have to keep, mute them in the way that they will not be able to.
Open keys, pal.
No, I'll respond to that.
Awal is a politician. He can see that the
But fortunately, Awal is not in government now, so our colleagues in the of course. You see, so that is also one part of it. But however, beyond as for the resource issue, almost all the public sector institutions, those who rely solely on government support, I think most of them are complaining. So it's not something that is so unique to NCC. But I believe that if the NCC want to really make some impact with their limited resources, they can do better than what they are doing now. Yes. Okay, that for that one is also a fact that we need to establish. The NCC can do more. We can't wait when, during the peak period of elections, then you see some few vans moving around saying what? At that point, people are already busy making decisions, involved in so many activities.
Even in the social media era, they can take advantage.
Exactly.
That's what I've written.
Exactly. Okay, I'm trying to, search online. TikTok is one of the commonest platforms that the youth of today use. Do they have a TikTok account?
They don't have.
And how much will it take to create content and put on TikTok account for people to really, watch and make some informed decisions? So there is something fundamentally wrong with what NCC is doing and how they are not helping us to really, build a more civic and informed society. And so they should take the blame with all these things that are happening, okay? And help us also do something right. I mean, when we realize that they are working and the resources are creating some hindrances to them, we will see. I mean, the people will appreciate that. Oh, we feel the NCC is doing making this effort, but technically we can decipher, we can find that they need more resources. And corporate Ghana, there are so many avenues that you can fall on for.
And this will protect the grassroots democracy, right?
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly, because you see, when the people understand their rights, their responsibilities, it's 50% or 80% of the problem solved.
Yes.
Okay? When you intend to even give me something in nation of votes or whatever, the impact that gift may give, will give may be different. Yes. Because I can take the money, but I know that this is not what I want to do, and so I can sit the money and then just go and vote for whatever direction that I feel will develop the country. And the more such actions or output comes, the more the politician will even advise him or herself that, hey, if I even give them the money, they will not vote for me. So let me rechannel my energy into maybe giving my message out or other factors that I believe will help win. Okay,
right.
And so yes.
But will we ever get there, Awal?
Yes. So
you're a politician.
I'm saying that.
Yes.
The NCCE, look at fire service. They are one of the under-resourced security agencies. Today, because of leadership, they have a TV. They have social media channels.
Even police has a TV as well.
For police, they are highly resourced.
Yeah.
But the fire service, they are under-resourced. But they have a TV. They have TikTok account. They have other accounts that you see them record themselves, tell people what they are supposed to do and so on. You sit at NCC, you can use any phone to record any video and post it. I, as an individual, not an institution, have over 200,000 followers on TikTok. So if an institution like NCC, no, you see, I'm saying that as an individual, without any branch, without branch, they have office 236 offices across the country. So even if they are to record just a video in a week, they should be able to really churn out contents that will help. Again, one thing that I believe will really help in this is that the Constitutional Review Commission, or committee, right? Is it a commission or committee?
Committee.
Yeah, the committee. They propose that there should be strict separation of powers, where people, if you're going to legislature, you're going to be MP and so on. I think that is the only thing that will solve this. Because there are a lot of people who are paying huge amounts of money to get to parliament because our constitution is saying that the ministers, 50%, more than 50% of the ministers must come from parliament. And there is also the geographical location kind of a thing in it. So I know that I live in Accra. Let me use my, I live, and I am a voter in Asawase constituency. But to win in Asawase will be difficult. I can look for Ifjase, go there and pay. Because that's where I was born. I go there, I pay, and I become an MP with the anticipation that I'll be a minister so that I can recoup my monies and so on. So if really we accept that, and there is strict separation of powers, people who go to parliament will say that he's a lawyer, he has practiced for over time, you are a journalist, you've practiced over time, you have something to contribute to this country in terms of lawmaking. You don't need money to go there because that time there's no incentive to go there because you will not be a minister or a board member or a board chairman.
Anyway, let me read a few messages. Sami Boachi Atamankese says cocoa farmers across the country are facing significant challenges due to delayed payments, increased transportation costs, and proliferation of illegal mining. Meanwhile, the government is implementing measures to collect revenue from these galamsey activities. Despite the stabilization of the dollar, the impact on citizens' purchasing power is not evident, and many are struggling. Rather than addressing these pressing issues and ensuring timely payments for farmers, the government has opted to detain an individual who made allegations. We urge the release of Kofi Ofosu in Kansa now with regards to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the next president, and Samuel Osei Sarkodie, aka SOS. Nana Boache, Nana Kwamwa Boating from Ablekuma says, good morning, Rosalind. I'll be very naive to believe that the NDC committee set up to investigate the conduct of Baba Jamal in the Ayawaso East primaries will recommend for nullification of the results. They will never betray their own. They will always choose their party first. This is certainly another political grandstanding, and Ekwamwa sent that. Good morning, Rosalind. The good people of Ayawaso East are rallying massively behind Baba Jamal on the 3rd of March. He will be elected as MP. Greetings to my supervisor during my thesis doing my master's in law at Gimpa. Okay, Ian Metonono Jr. says so. Good morning, Rosalind. Majority Leader. The good people of Ayawaso East are rallying massively behind. Oh no, I read this one already. Okay, this one didn't open. It's not opened yet. Let me try and get it opened. All right, good. Good morning, beautiful Rosalind. Allow me to use your platform to congratulate Baba Jamal for his victory and also advise the president to be fair and impartial. We are keenly watching and expecting him to visit similar punishment to those who involved in similar acts. No serious politician can say he or she has never involved in vote buying. Awal here is not excluded. Political spider, Kintampo. And good morning, Rosalind. Majority Leader should go away with it. Okay. Good morning, Rosalind, or good morning, everyone. Vote buying is just galamsey. It will be difficult to stop it. The people of Ayawaso East should reject Baba Jamal and the NDC for lack of development in the constituency. The Ghanaian youth is waiting for 133 jobs, 1 million coded jobs, women bank, and so on. The high cost of living in Ghana now is so much, people cannot pay their rent, water bill, electricity bills, and their children's school fees. Living in Ghana now, fees, yet the NDC government is using our money to buy votes. Christian from Sandema. Good morning, madam. Did I hear the NPP man saying he's not fine? Yes, he will not be, because since assumption of power of JM and the NDC, we don't hear one day, one scandal. On a more serious note, vote buying is becoming norm, and the early we nail it, in the bad, the better. But if you are NPP communicator, you have no moral and legal locus to comment on it, for they are the worst culprits in our body politics. A guy told me the reason why they don't like voting for the NDC is because when they are in government, they concentrate on infrastructure development, but the NPP use these monies to buy gifts for them, like motorbikes, panty, hair dryers, etc. during the period of elections. I witnessed it in Hohoi during 2020 elections, where votes were given a cup of rice, cube, salt, etc. You're back from Hohoi. Hey, wow, does this really happen? Anyway, good morning, Rosalind. From the onset, we knew very well that the NDC was engaged in settings and not to fight the open vote buying that occurred in the Ayawaso East constituency. In fact, the NDC is a so-called social democratic party in neck-pressing or neck-deep in bribery, vote buy, and inducement. Simply put, what transpired was just the tip of the iceberg in the impending NDC's internal election. Abdullah Abdul Razak from Tamale. Good morning, Ameben from Kwabinya. Applause to the committee in probing the alleged inducement of the NDC primaries. But henceforth, I think the party should amend its constitution to be able to deal with such inducements. Regards to Honorable MCE Agbo of Ga East. All right, that's all I'll be reading for this morning. I know a lot have come in, but unfortunately, I can't read all. So please pardon me if I didn't. Wow, I have a lot, but unfortunately, please pardon me if I couldn't read your messages. Unfortunately, time will not permit us for that. I want to say a very big thank you to all of you, but I'll go around the table and I'll take 1 minute of your final submission. So I'll start with you, Lom.
So I think that I want to reiterate a point I've made earlier, that we want to hear from all political parties in Ghana, their position on this matter about vote buying and vote selling, and what they intend to do about it. It would be good to get positions now ahead of time, because then as a country, we can hold them to what they have said. Because as at now, as I say, this issue in Ayawaso East has triggered a conversation. So let's keep the conversation at the forefront. All political parties in Ghana should give us their firm position on this matter and what they intend to do about it going forward, so that for all primaries and everything that relates to internal party discussions and so on, we can be sure what will happen, and then we can hold them to it. Secondly, I think it also brings to the fore the matter of the electoral college for these internal elections, because the delegate system, for example, we're talking about Ayawaso East, we're talking a little over 900 delegates. It's not a very large number. But the members of the NDC in that constituency, perhaps is maybe thousands of people. If the parties were, the elections were being conducted in such a way that all registered members of the party in that constituency were the ones voting, perhaps we would not be seeing the TVs and so on and so forth. So it also brings to the fore the question of how to deepen the democracy even within the constituencies and the various internal elections. And I want to see more of that so that we can decrease the impact of inducements and gifts and so on in our national politics.
Fantastic. Thank you, Pakwesi.
Yes, nothing much to say. I was just thinking, with some of the commentaries or some of the comments that came from, the footages at Ayawaso East, some of them were like the items were given to them as gifts and all that. I've just been thinking, in our laws, he may correct me, but I know that if you receive any gift worth 50 cedis or more, it's taxable. It's taxable.
Yes.
So they should pay tax on it.
GRA will also step in and take the
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, I want to draw the attention. Maybe they should just look at that one also. If not, well, the fundamental issue is that this is something that we don't have to entertain. Okay, we don't have to entertain at all in our body politics. If we allow this to happen, a time will come. Look, we'll get very bad leaders. Bad leaders. All that people will do is they will go and mobilize resources because they know they can pay off their way to become leaders. They will go and mobilize from wherever they will get the money from, and then just come in, participate in elections and win. And is that what we want as a people? Not. I think our focus ought to really be on what can the person do? What are the vision? The vision and then the plans for whatever reason the person is engaging in that election. So I think that we as a people have to really look into ourselves also and see what we are doing wrong. The monies you are taking from the politician is not going to solve your problems.
Yeah.
So find something more sustainable doing, work things for yourself, and we don't have to make election prayers as cash prayers where we want to amass resources from whatever.
Right now, everybody wants to be a delegate. Awal.
I will really talk about the president asked the minister to investigate Joy News expose. You see, the difference between President Mahama and President Akufo-Addo is that during the Akufo-Addo time, when two DCEs were accused of engaging in galamsey, President Akufo-Addo sacked them. Amansia South, he only granted the interview and said that galamsey had really helped the livelihood of the people. Akufo-Addo sacked him as DCE. The other person was also heard granting some interviews, and he was also sacked. That is Bosume Frehon. Now, Etiwa is a court of competent jurisdiction. It sentenced the DCE for Etiwa East for engaging in galamsey for 12 days, and later it was converted into a fine. He's still at post because he's the constituency chairman of the NDC.
But that case is still in court.
I'm saying that he's still at post. The president has not fired him, even though Ken Ashibe and others are calling for him to be fired.
Right, but
to serve an example.
I'm just saying that
now that is the reason Amansia South,
it's also
Amansia Central, is also seen. And yesterday he even issued a statement to justify what he had done. I was on Joy News yesterday in the morning, and they read the statement.
Yeah.
It was disgusting. As I speak today, not even suspension. The president is saying they should just investigate. And that is why we are saying that the president and the government is the enablers of galamsey, because The kingpins they told us they will come and arrest, they are found in their party and they cannot arrest them.
All right, thank you so much, Awal. This is all time will permit us. And talking about what Awal said, today we will be airing that is called A Tax for Galamsey. It is at exactly 5:30 p.m. right here on Joy Prime. So if you want to see this hotline documentary on Joy Prime, it is at 5:30 p.m. If you don't understand it, you get to understand everything. It's an expose on some of the things that is happening in the Galamsey world that we have all been crying about.